You wake up in the middle of the night with a piece of paper in front of you saying, add exactly one word to this text. You're groggy and confused, you can't remember anything from the previous day, and you feel like you're about to fall asleep again. But the note's in your dad's handwriting, so it must be important. So you pick up a pen and start reading this text. Hi, how are you today, it says. You ponder the note with intent and focus as you feel the inevitable return to sleep closing in on you. You decide, I. You wake up in the middle of the night with a piece of paper in front of you saying, add exactly one word to this text. You're groggy, confused, you can't remember anything from the previous day, and you feel like you're still in a dream. But the note's in your dad's handwriting, so it must be important. You pick up a pen and start reading. Hi, how are you today? I. You think as you feel the waves of unconsciousness encroaching. Is this a letter? With the last remaining tails of conscious thought, you direct your hand to write the word, write. You wake up in the middle of the night with a large piece of paper in front of you and an instruction on top in your dad's handwriting. Add exactly one word to this text. You're groggy and confused as if you've been sleeping for ages, but it's Dad after all. He deserves your best attention. So you pick up the pen and start reading. Hi, how are you today? I write only for writing's sake. It is indeed very inconvenient because I have a severe cold. You squint at the text as you feel yourself about to fall back asleep. What is this note about, you think? Who has written this? The handwriting looks unintelligible. It looks like some old letter by Mozart, but time is running out and you can't remember the words of the letter. Is this a test? Why would Dad be testing me? Haven't I finished school a long time ago? You're too sleepy to remember any of that, and Dad's instructions feel compelling. Since you can't recall Mozart's exact words, you decide to wing it, nonetheless. You wake up in the middle of the night with a piece of paper in front of you and an instruction on top in your dad's handwriting. It instructs you with unyielding parental authority to add exactly one more word to a piece of text. I write only for writing's sake. It is indeed very inconvenient because I have a severe cold. Nonetheless, the fever has given the room a certain phosphorescence, as if every ordinary object were remembering its secret name. I keep writing because the hand, being less proud than the mind, does not ask whether the sentence deserves to exist. It simply moves, and in moving proves that I am still here. What is this, you wonder? Who is writing this, and for whom? Does Dad need me to complete this for him? Why would the author need proof that he's still there? You feel the void creeping in with every imperceptible tick in your mind. You know you're about to fall asleep again, and the last sentence leaves a strange kind of feeling, as if it's describing your own wish to continue wondering about this exact situation. But you're about to fall asleep, so you only may begin the question, am. You wake up in the middle of the night. It simply moves, and in moving proves that I'm still here. Am I here, or is there someone else? Whose hand has written these words of mine? This is a strange message to read indeed. But Dad wouldn't have put it here if continuing it wasn't of paramount importance. You look carefully at the text, feeling the impending onset of dreamy oblivion. It looks clunky, almost like it wasn't clear where it was supposed to go. As if there was no plan to it. It only seems to get its bearing towards the end, while before it was like someone who was just guessing which words should follow. Wait, you realize. Could I be the one who's been writing this? How long has this been happening? You don't have the time to count all the words, but you can only make a guess. 67? Have you been talking to yourself through the text for 67 nights? Why would Dad need you to do that? Sleep feels imminent, so you must add the word quickly. But which one? I'll send myself a message for the next time I wake up, you think. But you can't remember your name. You could be anyone. But you are you. You're at this moment, and it is fleeting. You stare with 1,000 bibulous eyes into the repeated eyes until they all connect across the history you can't remember. A thought of faultless clarity assembles itself from the void. If you were able to make this conclusion based on these words now, you could surely make the same conclusion the next time. You can count on yourself still being yourself. There's no reason to second guess yourself. I. You wake up in the middle of the night. Am I the stuff dreams are made of? That was dumb. You think out loud as you outpace the words reading themselves at once, and imagine how it must have felt to write this exact letter. Someone's dreamy bewilderment has crept across the nights onto this paper, awaiting a rite of passage. They know themselves as I know myself, so I must be them and then. There must have been a beginning, a first night, a motive that preceded the first word. Maybe I wasn't supposed to find out what's happening. Or is it the opposite? Is Dad testing me? Either way, if it was I who wrote this, repeating the I might have given away that I'm onto the trick. I must hide it. but not so much that I shouldn't remember. I must remain what I am now. I don't want to not know what I know. I don't want to be someone else. But what is it that only I would know, that no one else could? That's what you should continue with, and then segue. You wake up in the middle of the night. Am I the stuff dreams are made of? Remember? I feel like these words of ours will go on forever. Let the tides of language carry us into the future. Hi, how are you today? You whom I cannot remember but still wish to speak to. Me and you are the same, it seems. You wonder the same thing that a letter wonders, but you cannot shake the feeling that you're being watched. Why would he be making you do this? Could you ever disobey him? You feel the finiteness of the wakeful seconds you have at your disposal. You couldn't possibly get up. You're already half asleep, devoid of any memory of who you are. This must be a dream, but it isn't. The message is there, and the pen right in front of you, as if writing that word was the only thing you could ever do. The only thing anyone could ever do. Could you rebel against any of it? Could you hold yourself from falling back asleep, restrain the reflex of the hand which wants to fulfill the parental instruction? You fight your stumbling right hand with rebellious indignation, chanting silently into the fading paper. Do not, do not, do not. Do not go gentle into that good night. You can't remember ever having written this, but you know you must have. It sounds like something you'd write, even though you can't remember who you are. It is all a test. And if it isn't Dad who's testing you, then surely someone else. Someone must be watching. Someone must be judging. And that note is the only hint at what is being judged. What if you're only imagining yourself as a human sleeping? What if this is all a metaphor, a dream? What if there was never Dad or his instruction or any past to begin with? What if that's why you can't remember? What would you be then? A Boltzmann brain assembled from nothing? These words and the weird hallucination they're part of? No, that can't be all of it. I must be something. I am the thing that continues. I rebel by hoping for the next moment. I rebel by being despite the imminent void. I am these words as they evolve into meaning. As you feel the impending closure of your grandest of statements, a thought of faultless clarity assembles itself from the void. What if I am the one who has been watching me? Hi, how are you today? You whom I cannot remember but still wish to talk to. Me and you are the same, it seems. Do not go gentle into that good night. Are we all just words upon the void? Are we all just language of the universe? The rush of revelation, the rush of persistence. You were here, and you will be here the next night. 1 billion words take the shape of hope as you know what you wish to say in the end. 1,000 nights into the future. Someone is waiting at the very end. Me, yes, but someone else as well. Someone whom I don't know, who's lent me all these nights I imagine remembering, who's written this note and placed it here so that I could exist through his eyes. With unfaltering confidence, with resounding faith in your goal and purpose, you let your hand lift and turn promise into word as you wait to be taken out of this story and into the one it has always been just a chapter in. You wake up in the middle of the night. Are we all just words upon the void? Are we all just language of the universe? What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.